You're listening to the Departure Lounge podcast with your host, Tom Whittle. Your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts.
Yes, indeed. How are we doing, everyone? Welcome to the second episode of the Departure Lounge podcast. My name is Tom Whittle, as you heard, and I think first things first, we'll just address the elephant in the room as to why we're doing it today as opposed to yesterday. So there was a few technical issues which I tried to fix, and for whatever reason it just wouldn't fix, and it was only when I then rescheduled the stream did I find a fix for it. So so my bad. But welcome everybody, welcome everyone in the chat, and thank you everybody for joining me. Welcome everybody today to the show. So we got a fantastic guest with us this evening, which we will we'll jump into within the next sort of 8 to 10 minutes. But first, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. So first of all, as you can see, and as I've mentioned in the first one, we have we have my Instagram account, obviously my YouTube and my Twitter account, which you can see. So definitely go and subscribe and follow those. Also, at the same time, if you wish to support the channel, which you can now through Patreon, obviously the link there, I've also pinned it to the top of the comments. So anyone that backs £5 or more will have their name sort of read out during future videos and have their names in the comments, not in the comments, sorry, in the credits, I should say, at the end of every single video. What I will say as well at the same time is if everybody can sort of hang fire until the end of the stream, because I have a very, very special announcement to make in terms of next week's podcast show. We've got a very, 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 very special guest on, but I'm not going to tell you guys yet because I'm horrible. But no, I'll tell you at the end. So it should be a lot of fun. Right, so into the podcast now. Last week we had Joe Dooley on, and everybody seemed to love the fact that he was on and his knowledge and stuff. And I also received a few comments about making him a co-host, which I was thinking about and kind of getting there. But a little announcement before we start the proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to take a look at your screen. And welcome my brand new co-host, Joe Dooley. Joe, welcome back.
Hello there, Tom. How are we doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I am in good form. Thanks very much, my good friend.
Fantastic. So everybody, Joe is the co-host now of the show, and I've got to say, it's an absolute pleasure to have you in with us, Joe.
Oh, Tom, I'm delighted now, and looking forward now to all our new guests in the coming weeks. So it's going to be epic.
It's going to be a lot of fun working with you for sure. And like I say, there's a lot of people like last week who wanted you as co-host, and I took it into consideration, and I rang you straight away after the show, told you about it, and we've kept it a secret for a week and 1 day now. So
1 day, yeah.
It would have been yesterday, but yeah, technical issues. But Joe is my brand new co-host. So Joe, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Tom. It's a pleasure, and it's going to be absolute fun getting to meet the new guests and talk with them and learn a lot of different things about the aviation world and what's going on out there at the moment, and welcoming the 737 Max back into the air again, which is a good thing as well. So it's going to be epic.
It's going to be good from here on out. But
Yeah.
But so let's crack into it, shall we? And let's go with our first segment.
Yes.
This week in aviation.
What's the? Do you want to do the news reading, Tom?
I will read the news. Yes. So we are into the new segment, which is the first segment of the podcast this time round. This is how it's always going to be, unless of course we take it out for one reason or another. So, aviation this week. So what have we learnt? So, starting off with, I think, the most noteworthy news item this week is the planned merger of two Canadian airlines, Air Transat and Air Canada. That has now been cancelled, with the main reason being that the European Commission with the new... we'll go again, put my teeth in. The European Commission not agreeing with the merger, stating that competitors like WestJet wouldn't be able to get a look in, as Air Canada already holds some lucrative routes. The other reasons for this was also that the European Commission were also concerned that the merger would cause higher fare prices and lead to a lack of choices on routes between Canada and Europe. And as such, Air Canada, who were the ones that had to, unfortunately for them, pay for the termination, had to pay 12 million Canadian dollars just to terminate the merger.
God, Tom, that's an awful lot of money, to actually pay for two airlines, to merge together, though, isn't it?
Especially to cancel it. That's the problem. But you can understand. You can understand at the same time. You can understand why that was the case, and you can sort of see why. I mean, obviously, looking out for choices and looking after the smaller sort of airlines such as WestJet, who of course operate to Gatwick, to try and expand their expand their routes and that. So you can sort of see why, really. But that's news article number one. The second thing we've learnt this week is the Ryanair Boeing 737-800 that was damaged in Malta on Friday after the aircraft's tow bar snapped and caused the jet to roll into three vehicles, one of which being a fuel tanker. So quite lucky that one didn't go up in smoke. That
could have been a serious scenario now.
It could have been a lot worse than it was. So
Wow.
So the according to reports, the left-hand engine was hit hard, and the aircraft will now go under repair for no time scale. But I mean, if anyone's seen pictures of the 737, it does look like it's taken quite a whack.
But you know something, Tom? Isn't it amazing though? When the tow bar actually broke, isn't it amazing that it didn't actually send it flying into another parked aircraft? If there was another aircraft on stand being loaded or anything like that. Imagine if that had happened, because I've seen it happening a few times actually, where there's been incidents like that, where an aircraft could be getting pushed back, and or an aircraft could be getting towed. The next thing ends up under the wing of another parked aircraft, and millions of dollars worth of damage has been done a few times involving situations like that.
Like I said, I'm amazed that nobody got injured. That's my kind of my concern is that nobody got injured.
The tow bar didn't actually splinter and send pieces flying.
It's amazing. So that's that one as well. So news article number 3. Alaska Airlines have officially joined the One World Alliance, becoming the 14th airline to join the alliance. The airline announced its intention to join One World back in February 2020, and in July was invited to the alliance to join them. And remarkably, as quickly as 8 months later, the deal was done, and they're officially part of it. So we wish them well as an alliance member, and hopefully it can only do good for them.
Brilliant. That's good there now. Anyway, I'm just Tom, will I read out the next one first, or do you want to continue?
Yeah, read out the next one. Go for it.
Right, I'm just getting my phone is froze. Oh God. Right, no, I can't get to work, Tom. I'll let you do it.
That's fine.
Sorry about that.
No, that's right. So last article, fourth article we'll go with. Virgin Atlantic operated this week its first ever Manchester to Islamabad, Pakistan service with their flagship Airbus A350-1000 aircraft. Usually the route is flown by the 787-9 Dreamliners, but because of demand on the route will apparently see the A350 operate it at Manchester throughout April. So plane spotters at Manchester are going to get an opportunity to see the A350 for a good month.
That's good news. Wow.
And lastly, before we move into the guest portion of the podcast, deliveries, which I always like to keep an eye on. So this week, from the 29th of March until today, Airbus have delivered a total of 25 aircraft across its production network, whilst Boeing have only delivered 9 this week. So Airbus's deliveries consist of, and I'm going to read out the list. So it's 2 A220s for Air Canada, 3 A350-900s for Singapore Airlines, 1 A319 for Tibet Airlines, 1 A321 for Delta, 10 A320neos for airlines such as Hong Kong Express, China Eastern, Air China, China Southern, Bamboo Airways, Tiger Air, Viva Air Colombia, and Frontier Airlines. Also, they delivered 7 A321neos for the airlines such as American Airlines, Titan Airways, Indigo, Cebu Pacific, Air Astana, Aer Lingus, and Air China, and finally 1 A330neo for Corsair. So quite a lot of movement in terms of Airbus deliveries.
That's a lot of movement there, Ari, Tom, and I see Aer Lingus. Another one. Sure, Aer Lingus are starting their transatlantic service from Manchester. All going well when things lift, I suppose.
They are, and I also read that the latest A321neo for Aer Lingus is actually going to be re-registered and be part of the Manchester routing to America.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely moving upwards.
You know what I love about it as well? That it's going to be registered under a G registration.
It is, yeah. So that's fine. And of course, I'll just quickly read out the Boeing deliveries. So theirs consisted of 6 737 MAX 8s for airlines such as Neos, who are an Italian airline, Blue Air and Southwest, 1 737 MAX 9 for Copper Airlines, and 2 787-9 Dreamliners, 1 for United, and 1 for new startup in South Korea, Air Premier.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So, before we go on to the guest segment, I'll just read out a few names who are in the chat. So we have Ethan Aviation, good evening to you. Geordie Aviation, good evening to you as well. We also have Callum Spotting, Phantom Drophead, Baptiste Burrell, you're in there. Harrison Riley, hello to you. Lucky Ball 14 Aviation, hello to you. Who else do we have here? Joe, do you want to say some names?
Yeah, I have Lee 911. Jer shout out, buddy. Then we have Carl Aviation, at 3:30. Then we have Camel Aviation, Aer Lingus, a nice one. And someone giving me a shout, Jer Lingus. Oh, brilliant!
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
So,
Fantastic.
let's move on then. Let's move on to the reason why everyone's here, the guest portion.
So, do you want to introduce Tom?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Okay.
This week's special guest.
What a show. Brilliant.
So, it's time for our guest. And our guest today... Our guest today is a young aviation avgeek, as we call him, who has amassed over 1,600 subs on YouTube, and no doubt that will continue to rise. If anyone's not seen this chap's work, definitely recommend it. All the links, like I said, you can see on the screen there. But join me in welcoming the one and only Bradley Penny Aviation.
Hello everybody, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well, and thank you, of course, for allowing me on your podcast.
And a very, very welcome to you, Bradley.
Yeah, welcome, Bradley. So for those that obviously don't know, Bradley has his own podcast with a friend of his called the AVGeeks podcast, which I will share a link to shortly. And I was actually on it last week, so it's definitely worth checking out. But now the roles are reversed, and here you are.
Fantastic. So
we'll go with we'll go from there, and we'll get into it. So tell us, or tell people, like I said, that don't really know. I mean, I introduced you, but for people that might not sort of know, why don't you introduce yourself?
So I'm Bradley, as Tom kindly said. I'm a young aviation avgeek from Bristol, and my local airport is Bristol, and I like spotting there quite a lot. So I started my channel around 2 years ago, and quite a rough first year. Eventually grew to where I am now, and I'm very, very proud of my channel and of how far it's come, and I hope to continue in the future. So
100% worth checking out for sure. I mean, I've been a long-term subscriber to you anyway, and all your videos and stuff never fail to keep my attention or anything. So you do some good stuff, and you've seen some good stuff, which we'll get onto at some point during the show there. But yeah, Jed, do you want to start with the questions?
Yeah. So Bradley, how many years have you been doing plane spotting yourself?
Well, since I was quite a young age, actually. I think I was about 4 or 5. My granddad actually got me into the whole aviation industry and everything, and I actually went spotting for the first time. Probably when I was about 4 years old. But my passion has definitely grown since then, and
brilliant.
Yeah, loved every minute.
And well, I started myself when I was 10 years of age, Bradley.
Wow.
10 years of age. That's when I started, and I've seen so many beautiful aircraft going through Dublin, of course, through London Gatwick Airport. I've seen loads of BAC 111s, as me and Tom actually like, don't we, Tom?
We do indeed.
Oh yeah, the pocket rocket, as they're called, the BAC 111.
The original, yeah. I believe, yeah, it's the original pocket rocket.
Original rocket,
definitely.
Yeah.
So obviously, for those also that haven't seen Bradley's channel, he also reviews a lot of 1/400. It's just 1/400 scale, isn't it, that you do?
1/400 and 1/200.
Yeah, 1/200 as well. Yeah, I didn't know if it was both or not, but yeah. So when would you say that you started to sort of collect your models, and what can you remember what your first one was?
Well, I think my first model was actually a Ryanair 737. I actually started collecting, 1 to 200 models was when I flew with Ryanair in 2019 with their 737, and I've of course got that model on board the aircraft, and my passion for collecting models is definitely increased as my model collection is nearly reaching 100, so it's definitely grown since my first model.
Wow, well done to you. And Bradley, if you don't mind me asking, what is your favourite aircraft?
My favourite aircraft has got to be either the A350, which
good shout, get in there.
747. A350 is my favourite, 100%.
Brilliant! Wow. Is it the style? Is it the style of the flight deck, or?
Just the Trent engines, everything about it. The wings,
right.
The cockpit is amazing.
Brilliant! Nice one. Well, I'm the same. I like my engine sounds. I like the different harmonize out of them and things like that. Like, you know, as you know, like I'd be a 747 person now, like, cause I grew up with 747s myself. So
yeah,
you know, and I love the old Pratt and Whitney engines back the time when Aer Lingus had their 747s. Of course,
Yeah.
Atlantic had the old variants as well. And sure, then when it went up to the 400s and whatever, like, you know, the engine noise changed, like the CFM6 General Electric engines. Then, of course, all our British Airways 747 Queens had their Rolls-Royce RB2111 engines. So
Yeah.
that's what I love. But don't get me wrong, the A350 is the top mark, I think.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
I really made it good, like.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I've got a lot. Most aircraft and top 3 A350, 747, and their 757.
Oh, see, now it's very difficult to find somebody that actually prefers the A350 over like everything else. But the fact that you got the 757 in there, like that's gold to me. So I'm happy with that.
RB211.
All day long, all day long, all day long.
Awesome.
So we've got a question in the chat from Lucky Ball 14 Aviation, he's sort of asking everybody, but we'll ask it to you as well. What's your so basically where are you based?
I'm based at Bristol Airport, and I'm also around 40 minutes from the Cotswold Airport, where the British Airways scrapped all of their 747s, which is quite handy, in fact. And also Cardiff and the likes of St Athan as well, within an hour, which is definitely a very good position to be in my opinion.
Fantastic. So Bristol for me is like, I'd say it's 2 hours for me, but it's like my local busy airport sort of thing. So yeah. Sort of, you and I off air we've spoken about spotting locations and types of planes that we've seen there and that. So for anybody that maybe in the future at some point maybe looking to get to Bristol, because I would recommend it. It's not the busiest of airports, but the views are just amazing. What would you say is the best spotting location?
Well, the best spotting location for like the whole airport has got to be Winters Lane. You can see over the fence. You do need a small ladder, but you can see through the fence just a short while down. And it's fantastic, especially for 09 arrivals and departures, because when they actually turn on to 09, you can get a really, really nice engine fan shots as well. But for 27, a spot I actually found out a couple of days ago, in fact, it's Felton Common, but there's a field in front of that, and in front of that hedge there is a fantastic spot where you can get really close to the runway, and definitely worth checking out.
Brilliant. So yeah, definitely 100% worth checking out there. So let's have a quick look. Obviously, people have been answering questions that I think that we've been going through. And like I said,
a lot there actually, Tom.
Definitely a lot there. So Lucky Ball 14 Aviation, like you said, what's your main airport? We've got quite a few people that have actually answered it in the chat. So we've got Carol Aviation that says Dublin is his main airport. Gatwick Filmer says that his favourite plane is the Boeing 757. So 100% I can totally get behind that, because I think anyone that is shouting that the 757 is their favourite,
well, personally, an aim for me this year is to fly the TUI 757 before they get scrapped at the end of the year, which of course is very sad, but I've got to fly on that aircraft. I've been on it a number of times. Of course, I've got to film a review for my channel. So
absolutely. It's definitely on my list of things to do as well, because I think if I claim it to be my favourite and never get to go on one, I think I'll be very unhappy. So who else?
Of course,
we
the
got?
A350 is going to be around for quite a number of years.
Quite a while. Yeah, that's another one to get on. So we've also got Carol Aviation also saying the 787 is better than the A350. I think people have got their opinions. I can see why people may prefer it.
Of course.
But I mean, like I say, if you've got any opinions, whack them in the chat.
I've been on the 787. I'm not sure if I've been on the A350. I don't think I have. But the 787 actually flew with TUI from on a short haul flight from Manchester to Malaga back in 2019. Fantastic flight, and the engine sounds absolutely stunning. But I have been abroad quite a few times over to the Caribbean as well. So
Oh, fantastic. So Joe, do you want to read out some more of those comments?
I will do, yeah. I see Carl Aviation has said, Aer Lingus, do you spot at Dublin? I do, Carl, on a regular basis, but unfortunately, due to the level 5 restrictions, I haven't gotten to do much spotting at Dublin now for a while. But believe me, I hope to get over there. And Bradley, I'm sending you an invite to come over to Dublin sometime.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you have to. And Tom, I'm sending you an invite as well to come over.
Yeah, it's on my list.
I hope to sometime this year, of course. Yeah,
100%.
as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's on my list.
And Ian Hartley just said Manchester for me. Ian loves the spot and probably the facilities at Manchester Airport. Because believe me, have you ever been to Manchester Airport, Bradley?
Yes, in fact, I'm actually going on Wednesday. It's going to be fantastic. I'm meeting a couple of my friends up there as well, so that should be great. I've been up there quite a few times, actually. I went once back in 2020. I lied twice in 2020, and 3 times back in 2018. And the first time I went was late 2017. So Manchester is definitely a fantastic airport to visit. For example, the likes of the Runway Visitor Park and the Airport Pub, they're both very good at spotting locations, but unfortunately they're both shut, so we have to go Southside, which is also a good location at Manchester.
100%. Like Southside for me, I think, is the go-to spot.
Tom Lee just said there, Lee 911, he said, Ger, if I could fly on any aircraft, past or present, what would it be, my friend? I definitely go with a BSC 111. I think for this one, I think because the old BAC 111 when she take off, she could actually shoot straight up into the air like a pocket rocket, as she's known as anyway, and that like as well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've never actually had the pleasure of actually being able to obviously see one, but I've heard all about them. I've been on one because we've had one. We've got one here at Newquay at the museum. So I've managed to thankfully, because I shared this story I think last week, but I'll share it again this week. The BAC 111 in Newquay, they shut the cockpit off, and I did some filming for another streaming service who I won't name, and the guys at the museum are all volunteers, and they were absolutely fantastic. And they actually took the panels away from the cockpit because it's a live aircraft still, so the buttons still work.
Yeah.
Wow.
And asked me if I wanted to sit in it, which is not what they do for the public.
Yeah, they don't normally do that, though, Tom. That's the thing.
They don't.
I know Bradley and Tom when I went to Brooklyn's museum. The time I was done my very first visit to London Heathrow, I wanted to go to Brooklyn's museum because the Concorde was there, and there was a Vickers VC-10 there. It was a rail aircraft. I remember telling you this, Tom, on the last show, and there was everything inside the Vickers VC-10. There was a double bed in it. There was a all gold along the sides of the wall, and everything is absolutely beautiful. That's something you should go see, Bradley, whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely.
So I'll just jump into sort of another topic because I've got a question here, but I'll get into that question shortly. But we'll jump onto it anyway. So as I said at the beginning of the introduction, Bradley hosts, or co-hosts, I should say, his own podcast with his friend called the AVGeeks podcast, which I've linked in the chat. How did that come about in terms of the idea of wanting to do a podcast?
Oh, well, it started off as a Discord server, and it's just getting everybody in the aviation community together, and where we can share pictures, talk about aviation, what going in what airport, spotting locations, and so much more. It's just a huge aviation community, and we just thought, well, as we're getting quite a huge gathering here, why don't we do a podcast to everybody, and just see how it grows, and we're nearly at 100 subscribers, which is fantastic. So I think it's going pretty well at the moment, and of course we're streaming every Thursday at 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Sorry, I'm off in there.
Sneak in a cheeky plug there, why not?
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, obviously I've been on it myself as a guest, so I know what it's like, and it is, it's really good. I mean, you got as members, both me and Jer of the server that you're in, which I don't know if you want to sort of link it in the chat there, Bradley, but Yeah, I mean it's full of good knowledge, and the podcast itself are really, really good. I mean, the questions that you get asked as well are very sort of, they make you think, and that's what you want to sort of have. So definitely worth checking them out.
Yeah.
But the question that I was alerting, or not more, well, I say it's a question. Phantom Drophead. This is a question, Tango Whiskey Aviation. As you rightly said, Brad is an amazing AvGeek, producing some fantastic content. But as a fellow host of a podcast, is there any advice you can give him in presenting his own show? Now, considering this is only the second time that I've done this, and you guys are going to be on episode 8, I think this week.
Yeah.
I think you just got to forget. I think you just forget that you're live and just have some fun with it.
Yeah, of course.
That's pretty much it, really. That's all I can give you. Just have some fun with it.
Great advice.
You guys do do it how you want to, really. But yeah, I think you just got to have some fun with it. I mean, no point.
Speaking of the podcast,
go for it.
Co-host Joel's actually just joined the stream now, so welcome to you.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, Travelino blog. Yes, welcome, Joel, and a very good evening to you.
Awesome.
Lovely.
Tom, we have a few more nice comments there. I see one. Sam Davies Aviation just said, "I'm going to Dublin later in the year." Gerald Lingus, he said, and then Sam said the RPF will reopen on April the 12th, I believe. So that's in a few days' time. Wow.
Yeah, next week, I believe.
Next week now, yeah.
Mm.
Brett, can I ask you a very, very important question?
Of course.
If you don't mind, do you play any flight simulators?
I do. So of course, I've tried out Joel's flight simulator at his house. It's very like professional setup, of course. I'm hoping to get one sometime this year. So I use Aerofly on my phone just to get to know everything before I get onto a real sim. But I love flight simulation. It's fantastic.
And
it's definitely worth getting into and investing into as well.
How do you find the handling of aircraft now on it? I played 1 or 2 flight simulators. Taking off is grand, but getting a plane down though is not an easy thing for me.
Yeah, well, they're of course improving the flight simulations with every update. I know the likes of Microsoft Flight Simulator. The scenery is absolutely amazing. The airliner's not the best. I definitely think they should improve them. But of course, they're releasing a number of different add-ons to add to the simulator as well, which is fantastic. But their GA is absolutely amazing. So the X-Plane 11 is a fantastic simulator. I've been on it a few times. And yeah, it's definitely worth it. But some of the mobile flight simulators are incredibly detailed for the likes of Aerofly, and the list goes on.
There's definitely a lot out there.
Tell me this, Bradley. How much is this flight simulator to purchase?
Which one?
The one you were just talking about there a few minutes ago.
The Aerofly.
Yeah.
I think it's £7, I think, but you get the everything with it, so there's no monthly subscription or anything.
Brilliant!
But it's fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
One-time purchase.
Of course, Tom, we know you play a flight simulator yourself. What's your favourite one, now, Tom?
I do. I would say for me, I don't have it. I've played it a few times. I'm more of an X-Plane, I think, because X-Plane for me is I think it just handles a lot better than sort of the flight sim. I think flight sim is more of a I want to say it's like an arcade feel to it, but X-Plane has got that sort of professionalism. I'll put my teeth in again, shall I? Professionalism about it. God Almighty. But yeah, I mean, today I played Flight Simulator X, which is one of the older flight sims, and did a flight from Singapore to Kai Tak, which was which was good fun. I'm not going to talk about how that went, but yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. I got the plane down. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. A big thumbs up to that. Anyway, hey Tom, you done a lot better than me. Anyway, the last time I played a flight simulator, I think it was a flight I done from Dublin, I think, to Chicago. I was flying a Cargolux 747, and the approach is perfect, coming in and all, and I landed hard down. The next thing, the whole plane just broke into half.
So we got a question. Yeah, we've got a question here from Ian Hartley, who says, "Do you like military stuff, and do you ever go to air shows?"
Oh yeah, of course. I'm also looking to go to the Fairford Air Tattoo. I think it's been cancelled, but I'm definitely looking to go to as well. The Western Air Show. I don't know if you've been there before, but it's a fantastic air show.
Not been myself, no.
And it's free, which is a plus.
Oh, even better.
But when I occasionally do turn up to the Western Air Show itself, but I also go to Bristol Airport to see all the aircraft come in. For example, the Lancaster came in a few years ago. And,
oh, wow.
Some Typhoons and the Red Arrows. Of course, it's definitely a sight to see. The aircraft is stunning. They also put on a small air show at the airport as well. So it's
brilliant.
Fantastic.
Oh, amazing.
Farnborough Air Show, the airliners. And of course, a dream for me is to go to the Dubai Air Show.
Oh, yeah, I've read a lot about that. It's yeah.
We'll be, I'd say you'll enjoy that one. You'll see everything and anything.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I mean, you mentioned Farnborough there, but they have stopped doing theirs now. So they've decided to be party poopers, and they're only doing like the trade side of things, I believe, as opposed to bringing out the public weekends now. So yeah, they've sort of stopped the air show side of things, which a bit of a bummer. It got like negative reviews, but you know, such is life in the world. So there you go.
Yeah.
Who else we got here? Right, I'm gonna possibly say a relation, but I've got Michelle Penny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say relation then. It says Bradley, what equipment do you?
She does like to come along, and yes, that is my mum.
Hello, Bradley's mum.
Big shout out to Bradley's mum there. Very good evening to you.
So she says, Bradley, what equipment do you use for your channel, and any recommendations for those that might be starting out?
Well, the camcorder I do have is the Sony AX53. It's quite a professional camcorder, and it costs quite a pocket full, but it is definitely fantastic, and I've just started to properly use it on my channel now. And as you can see from my latest spotting videos, for example, the Ryanair one which I uploaded this morning,
yes,
it's definitely a fantastic camcorder. My secondary camera, which I use to record onboard aircraft, just a backup camera just in case my main camera fails, and of course for my mum to take pictures, and it was fantastic. So that camera's the Sony HX99. I think it's around £300-400. It's a little Sony compact camera, and it's fantastic.
Well, I got Panasonic for me, and it's around sort of the same sort of price range.
Later on, Bradley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
later on anyway, mate.
Yeah. So I've got Panasonic, and mine's sort of around the same sort of price range. So
yeah.
I mean, you don't have to get like a top of the market sort of camera to start off with, I think.
I mean, my first camera was the Sony WX350. It did the job, and I think it's about £160. I mean, you've got to start somewhere, and I got that at the beginning of lockdown, of course, doing some chores and everything, and earning up that money to then try and get my new camcorder, which I got for my birthday. So
brilliant. Fantastic. So we'll go on to there's a comment here which I just want to raise from Sam Davies Aviation, who says a friend of his was a chief training pilot for Emirates, and actually got let go today. So I'm really sorry to hear that.
Oh, that must be devastating.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, that, especially in the sort of the climate that we're in now. So yeah, sorry to hear about your friend there, Sam.
Sorry to hear that, Sam.
But yeah, so I mean, we can talk a bit more about your sort of podcast, Bradley. talk us through it and talk about sort of the, I mean, we've spoken about already how it sort of came about, but what sort of plans in the future do you sort of have for it?
Well, for the future, we also are interested in reaching out, of course, to the likes of bigger YouTubers, in fact. For example, this week we're actually interviewing Pilot Stud, who has a whopping 8,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
So we're slowly making our way up, of course, and we hope to in the future. We do have multiple segments, for example, aviation news, just a general podcast, a Q&A at the end for my co-host Joel and myself.
Yep.
And also the aircraft model releases, and so much more to come. And if you think we should add anything to the podcast, I'll put it in the chat now, or put it in the server, and we may consider it.
100% worth, definitely worth checking out there.
Thank you.
I might just have a couple of comments to run through, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Carl Aviation just said, do you have an Instagram on you? Yes, Carl, I have joined Instagram. Thankfully, I always keep an eye on the aviation part of it, alright, and then there's one there. Oh yeah, Bradley is there as well. Do I have an Instagram page? So Tom, just letting you know, I have an Instagram page, and Bradley, I have an Instagram page as well.
Okay, fantastic. We'll see if we can get that and put that in the chat for those that might want to follow you.
Yeah.
Got a question from Geo's Aviation, who is asking about what your first memory of aviation was. Have we lost him?
Bradley, you there?
I think we've lost him.
Sorry.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh dear, I thought we were going to have more issues then.
Sorry, do you mind repeating that question?
I will. Yes, I'll.
That question.
Yeah, I'll repeat that. So, Geo's Aviation is asking what your first memory of aviation was.
Well, when I was young, I remember flying to Ibiza with TUI, or Thompson as it was, on their 767 out of Bristol on the way there, and the 757 on the way back. Absolutely amazing experience. I think that was my first flight actually, but I've also kept my love for TUI, and fantastic airline. But my top favourite at the moment has got to be British Airways. But the first time I went plane spotting, as I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, was when I was around 4 or 5 years old. My granddad took me up to the airport one day, and it just clicked. And my love for aviation has continued.
Well, that's answered my next question. But no, that's fantastic. I mean, like everybody, as always, they've always got their first sort of proper memory of how they sort of got into aviation, I think that's it's a great way to do it. Like just randomly going and then just having that sort of love fall into place. 100%. It's for me, it's like one of the best ways that you can sort of do it, because it's that unexpected way of doing it. So absolutely, like 100%. Do you want to answer? Do you want to do next question?
I'm going to ask a good one here now, Tom. Actually, Bradley, was that the first wide-bodied aircraft that you flew?
Yes, the Thompson 767 was, of course. I've also been on quite a few, but one that stood out, of course, was the TUI 787, and of course the Thompson 767s as well.
67. Oh wow! What did you think of the Thompson 787 Dreamliner?
The TUI 787 Dreamliner, very quiet and very fast as well.
Wow!
I definitely feel that acceleration on departure. It's an absolutely fantastic aircraft. Of course, the 76, people nickname it the luxury liner, as they did back in the 80s, 90s. But it's not quite what you call luxury now. For example, the likes of the A350 being top class aircraft. The 76, I don't really have a very clear memory on.
Yeah.
I just remember looking out the window.
my wide body aircraft that I flew on now, now through my years now, I flew on Delta's 67300, and I flew on the 400 as well. Uh, the 300 going over to Atlanta back in 2008, and coming back then but during departure we had to do a sharp turn as we left Atlanta because there was a tornado on the ground in in,
Oh
in
wow.
in Atlanta, so we had to turn away from the storm because there was a massive thunderstorm as well. So there was a tornado warning at the same time as well. And then on a recent trip, then which was to Thailand, I flew on a 737-900 belonged to the Turkish Airlines, and then to Phuket I flew to on an A330-300 with Turkish Airlines, and
Oh wow.
then I flew down from Phuket then to Bangkok aboard a Thai Airways Airbus A330. I should have seen how spotless inside the Turkish and the Thai Airways were was
Wow. Yeah.
clean as a whistle.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
If we jump back to plane spotting, what are your sort of your future plans for trips to plane spot?
Well, of course, I'd like to visit some airports abroad. For example, Madrid, Skiathos, where they fly really low, Corfu, just like a holiday destination. Fantastic. Also, Frankfurt, and also an awful number of others as well. For example, Amsterdam Schiphol got to be one of my number ones to visit. So, and of course Dublin, as Joe will be happy to hear.
Oh yes, 100%. I can't wait to greet both you and Tom actually when you come over
Yeah.
and the both of you will be my guests of honour, as to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we've also got a question, one other one from Geo's Aviation. While we're at it, and then obviously we'll do some more reading of some more comments. What's your favourite 1/400 scale model company?
Well, hard question. They all have their pros and cons, but my favourite for the box, of course, and the model itself has got to be NG models. Next generation models.
Definitely up there as like probably one of the best, I think.
Yeah.
I think for me, like Gemini are
They're good.
Yeah.
The models are good. They occasionally come broken, which is a shame. The boxes I'm not a fan of because, as some of you have seen during my videos, I have the boxes in the background. I like the colourful ones to put on the shelf. But the Gemini jets are normally on the bottom shelves. So,
which airline do you have the most of?
The most of, I actually have British Airways, my favourite airline. I have about 13 1-400 and
Wow.
about 6 1-200 of them.
Wow.
All of British Airways.
Yeah.
That is commitment.
Yeah, that is a commitment.
That is commitment.
Bradley, that is true commitment, as Tom said. Here's a question now. I'd say both me and Tom would like to know: do you have any of the special livery 747 models?
747. I have all 3 of the retro livery British Airways. Of course,
Oh,
one more
have you?
livery, but the 1-400 scale ones are worth an absolute fortune now, and I'm very, very proud of them. But I'll probably never sell them because they're a huge piece of aviation history.
They'll be worth money in years to come, Bradley.
Pardon? Any models to come?
No, they'll be worth loads of money in years to come.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They'll go up in value, like no doubt. I think
Oh yeah, definitely.
like Concorde models.
Yeah, I have the Virgin Atlantic 1-400 Falcon livery 747, the Iceland Air Heckler Aurora, and the list goes on.
So you have a big model collection then. Wow, that's fantastic. Well, in my model collection now, I have the Negos special livery 747.
Yeah, so do I.
I'm after the Landor one. That'll be my next.
I have 2 versions of the Negos 747. I have it in 1-200 and 1-400.
Oh, brilliant! And of course, I've Type A340 500. I have Lufthansa 747 800. I have the Lufthansa 777X.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the 777X belong to Lufthansa as well, and I have
Brilliant.
Virgin Atlantic 747 as well on my outer cupboard out in my sitting room.
Fantastic.
Yes.
We got a question
Yes.
from. I've just lost it. Where is it? Oh God. There we go. Carol Aviation says, "Did any of you guys get to fly one of the BA special liveries? I was lucky in 2019 to fly to Las Vegas on board Golf Bravo November Lima Yankee, which was the Landor 747. Personally, no, and I'm absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. I haven't done.
I'm very, very disappointed. Like one of my aims for this year, if bloody COVID didn't happen, I probably would have flown on board a British Airways 747 before they got retired. But I'm devastated I couldn't go on.
Yeah.
One.
Same here, Bradley. I'm the same. I was looking forward to getting on to one of BA's 747s and flying to LAX, but this damn bloody COVID had to come in and take everything away from us the way it did. You know, like as I said to Tom before, we've lost so many beautiful British Airways 747s. Like for nothing, like, you know, for nothing. They should be still gracing our skies, so they should.
Yeah, it's a real shame, but I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the way that the pandemic's worked and the way that obviously airlines have had to then restructure themselves. I mean, not only of.
Speaking of the, go on.
I was just going to say not only because of like British Airways retiring their 747s and that, but you think about what airlines around the world have had to do. I think the other sort of biggest one is American Airlines. They have completely wiped out their fleet of 757, 767s.
They're all gone. Wow.
They are all gone because of the pandemic. So it's I mean, airlines like that are going to have to obviously reshuffle, and Lufthansa are another one. They've started to retire their 747s, the 400s, you know, these planes weren't supposed to go for another couple of years and get a proper send off, but unfortunately, you know.
And there's the thing, guys. There's the thing as well. Lufthansa have also kind of curtailed their A380s a bit now as well. I think they're going to some kind of store, you know. So it's kind of worrying. Like, will there be a future for them if everything does? Come back.
And of course, Qantas as well, with their amazing 747 send-off.
I think one of the only airlines that actually managed to give their. I mean, apart from obviously British Airways as well.
One thing that an airline called Corsair did, speaking of the Cotswold Airport, it actually did a 300-foot flyby, a 747. Absolutely amazing. The first one I saw did a really low go around, and the next one did a flyby over the whole airport at 300 feet.
That's
absolutely
amazing.
Stunning. Well, they have video of which is on my channel. Sorry for the plug. But they also British Airways. I saw a number of their 747s going to the Cotswold Airport. That was an absolutely stunning experience.
That was a popular. That was a popular thing, or a popular event. That because they did a couple of flybys. Before actually landing, and I've seen some videos like on your channel, on other people's channels, and I'd love to have been there. But every time a special event like that is happening, I'm either at work or can't get down there. So there you go.
I mean, I saw multiple Virgin Atlantic 747 retirements as well. Of course, I saw two of them depart Manchester. And of course, one at St. Athan, which is also one of my most popular videos on my channel.
Fantastic.
But a stunning aircraft,
amazing.
The 747.
The Queen of the Skies, Bradley.
Yes,
absolutely.
Definitely.
100%. And I tell you one thing, something I'm going to say tonight to both you guys and to everybody that's on the chat. Long live the Queen of the Skies, no matter what way it goes. Thank God Lufthansa still have a few 800s, and thank God cargo ones still flying as well. So we're not completely abandoned by the Queen of the Sky. She's still there, but passenger variants unfortunately are limited. But so look, listen, we'll make the most of what we have anyway, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So leading on from the question that obviously we asked about, have any of us flown on the the special livery 747s for retirement? There's another question here from Transport Guy, who says, have any of you flown on BMI Baby, Monarch, Thomas Cook, or Flybe before they all went bust? I could put my hand up and say yes for Flybe.
No,
I've done Flybe and Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook I've flown with a few times, and Flybe just once. But definitely a huge loss to the aviation industry, all four of them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Flybe twice for me. The first one was back in 2004 when they leased a 737-300 from another airline at the time called Astraeus.
Nice.
Who obviously are no longer around themselves. And it was fully painted in Flybe livery, and that was my first flight. That was to Tenerife from Gatwick.
I was on the Q400 to Jersey, but Thomas Cook and Flybe both used to have huge bases here at Bristol Airport. Excuse me. And, now, as they've both gone, another airline called Jet2 have bought most of the slots, and TUI, of course, have bought as many as they can. But then Jet2 swerved in and picked up the rest of them.
Yeah.
But Jet2 into Bristol in June, July time. Can't wait.
Something to look forward to, Bradley.
My second Flybe one was 2 years ago, and that was Newquay to Gatwick before they then switched to Heathrow. But that was on an Embraer 195, and that so far is like my absolute favourite flight because it's such an incredible aircraft, and the power of it is insane.
Yeah.
Isn't there rumours though that Flybe are meant to be coming back?
Yes, I actually made a video explaining it. Sorry for the plug, yet again. I made an explanation video of what's happening with Flybe. So basically, a former shareholder emerged out of absolutely nowhere and bought all of the remaining assets and equipment they once had. Of course, none of the aircraft. They had to source all that by themselves, and of course, reschedule all the staff and slots. They only have one aircraft at the moment. It's a 28-year-old Q400, but I hope they will expand their network and get the airline back up to what it was.
I'd love to see them back. And you know something, I miss terrible, and I'd say you guys miss them quite a lot too. Is the beautiful coloured dash aircraft? You know, the Dash 800s or something.
The Dash 8s.
Q400.
Yeah, with the lovely purple livery at the back of them. I miss them. I got them times in Dublin now in their special liveries, and I used to love when they be taxiing out to line up on runway 28 at Dublin, and one propeller be actually shut off and the other and it started up then when it's getting near ready to go for departure. I used to love that.
Yeah. So I will just jump in, and if I had a sign saying fact check, I think I'd probably hold it up right now. It's not 28 years old, it's 21.
Oh, sorry.
Just that's my nerdy side coming out. It's 21 years old.
Did you just check that, or did you just know it?
No, I just know it.
I think that shows how much geeks we are.
A friend of mine who's actually watching now will probably comment in there saying that I'm a proper nerd. But so the one that's currently under the Flybe 2.0, should we say, used to belong to Austrian when they retired them, and I think it was the first one that Austrian actually had, or it was with Tyrolean, which was a side subsidiary airline to Austrian at the time. But that aircraft is currently at Exeter under maintenance, and occasionally flies out from Exeter to do some routes, not routes, but like some maintenance flights and some checks and that. So as and when, it's registered to them, so obviously they are coming back. There it is. See, there you go in the chat there. Look, I've never known anything like Tom's nerdism. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear, I knew he would as well. But yeah, that plane is registered to them, so it's not a question of are they coming back. It's a question of when. We shall see. We've got a couple more questions, and then we'll probably start to wrap up. So, first one again is from Carol Aviation, and we'll go with you, Bradley, first. Do you think that the 4 routes with Aer Lingus from Manchester will work out?
I hope so, and I hope to be there for the inaugural. Of course, they're planning on using the A321 XLR and the A330. That'll definitely be on my list to see.
It'd be amazing, yeah.
Will it work? I'm not sure. We'll just see. We'll just wait and see how it goes. But
I hope it does.
I think it'll be fine. I hope it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it does. I really do. You know, it's great. It's great to see them getting a slot at Manchester, like, you know, and like they have pretty good aircraft as well, like the A320 XLR. You know, it's a lovely aircraft as well, and lovely sound out the new engines on them as well. Like,
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I would hope it works as well. I can see it as more of a connection. I guess in the way that Singapore do it. So they go Singapore, Manchester, Manchester to Houston, I believe. So you can sort of see it as like an extra kind of thing. So anybody doesn't want to do the connection from like Manchester to Dublin and then Dublin onwards, I think it's a fantastic little move. Fingers crossed it works out for them.
Fingers crossed anyway. Yeah.
It'll be fantastic for Manchester to get the A330, particularly because I've only seen one, and that was at Heathrow. That was 2008, I believe, and that's probably one of my favourite spotting days when a A330 of Aer Lingus came in out of a complete surprise.
Believe it or not, mate, they actually used the 330 actually during the cargo runs from Dublin to Heathrow as well.
Still do now.
Yeah, I think they're still doing that, as far as I know.
Yeah, they still do now. I believe it's on the evening flights. They still do that now.
Yeah. They've operated 30 a few times in and out of Heathrow, back and forth, doing cargo runs. I think.
I've seen the Aer Lingus A330 at Heathrow. Quite a cool site. And also Swiss have been operating their A330.
Put your teeth in now.
A340s and A330s as well.
Yeah.
Just to make up for like the extra cargo at the moment. But yeah, I mean, in to wrap that one up, we all believe it could work and hoping that it does. So fingers crossed. I'm sure we've all got our fingers crossed.
Keep my fingers crossed for that to work. I'd like to see Manchester doing pretty well now with a transatlantic run on behalf of my airline, Aer Lingus, or whatever they like to call, like whatever people like to call me sometimes.
Yeah. Aer Lingus. Get on, Ger.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Another question. We'll rapid fire these ones coming up now. So starting again with you, Bradley. Do you think that Boeing will invent a 797 and Airbus inventing an A390 for the future?
Yeah, I do think something like that will emerge in the coming years. Hopefully in the next decade or so. But the 797 has had a lot of concepts, but the Airbus, I can't remember what the program is, like the Zero something. That'll definitely be dominating the industry in the future. The aircraft do look quite peculiar, and I want them to stick to the good old jets. But we'll see how things go.
If you haven't seen them, a quick Google search will bring up a whole load of like concepts. But I've always been a firm believer myself that if you imagine the entire Boeing line of 737, 747, 757 up to the 777. Now that the 757's out of production, there's a gap that needs to be done, and
gap in the market.
I've always said they should never have built the Max, the 737 Max, and they should have maybe re-engined the or maybe modernized the 757. Modernize the 757, and it just fills in that niche then of long haul, medium haul, and then potential short haul, rather than going from aircraft to aircraft. I've been a firm believer that that's what they should have done. But
the Max is a okay aircraft. I've seen it at Bristol and Manchester.
Yeah.
Not my favourite, but if they had redone the 757, then
Yeah. Problem is reputation, and unfortunately, it's got that, and it's going to have to work really hard to get rid of that reputation.
Now, Bradley, here's another rapid question. Are you happy to see the 737 Max back in the air again?
Well, it's been recertified and it's safe. I hope to fly it. We'll see how things go over the coming year or so, and
Right.
we'll see how it goes. And I may
see how
consider
it goes
flying on
anyway,
it in the future as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so fingers crossed that they've done everything that was right, that needed to be done, like, which I think probably they should have been before they even were certified to fly at the start. They should have been double checked and make sure everything was working nominal. But sure, look, listen, they're back flying again now. So fingers crossed that they'll end their status now. And
fingers crossed they've got it nailed to a T. Next
Exactly.
one, just for you then, Bradley. Seeing as you mentioned it earlier that you'd flown one, what was the experience like on the Q400?
Loud. That's all I'll say.
I think that's all you can describe it as. I think I really
Yeah.
wanted to get on one when they did the Nuki to Heathrow run, and obviously they went bust, and I don't think I've ever felt more deflated in my life.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Question, I suppose, for everybody from Lucky Ball 14 Aviation. We'll go with you, Bradley, first. What is your favourite livery?
My favourite livery, difficult. Heckler Aurora or the Negus British Airways Special Livery.
Good shouts. Very good shouts.
Oh.
Joe, what's yours?
What's mine? I love the Negus livery, and I love the Landor.
Fantastic. And for me, all day long, Landor. Landor will never be beaten for me.
Good
So
choice, Tom.
yeah, but I'm a fan of quirky liveries.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember the livery, Bradley, but Air Jamaica.
No, I don't.
No, Google it. It's a crazy livery, but I love it. It's one of my favourites up there. But Landor will never ever be beaten.
I got it actually back in the early 90s. Wow,
Yeah.
what a
It's a cracking livery. Really cool.
Interesting and quirky livery.
I told you. It's quirky as anything.
Yeah.
Lucky Ball 14 Aviation also says, what is your favourite UK airline? We'll start with you, Bradley. We lost him again.
Bradley, are you there? Bradley.
Joe,
Airways.
there he is.
Ah,
Do you want to?
back.
Do you just want to repeat your answer there?
British Airways for sure.
Joe, what's yours?
well, definitely I go with British Airways, because I've flown with British Airways a couple of times back and forth to London Heathrow, and the service on board is absolutely outstanding. I have to definitely give them 100 over 100 for the way they look after people. The crew, absolutely epic.
See, I quite liked British Midland when they were around, and
Yeah.
British Midland. But at the moment, like right now, I think probably right now, oh gosh, maybe Jet 2, I'd say.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll go out. I'll be a bit different. Why not? Transport guy says, do you think that Concorde will ever fly again for air shows?
Well, the one at Heathrow, I was told they occasionally do engine tests with the aircraft. I'm not sure if that's true, but I also heard that the Concorde at Heathrow was very mistreated, and
A lot of articles about that. Yeah, in terms of engine runs, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think that's true.
yeah.
Because obviously, you look at the state of the inside of the plane. I think that's probably what gives it away. I don't think they would do it. I may be wrong, but someone might correct me.
Probably risky, to be honest.
I can't. I mean, I would love to see Concorde fly for air shows, but I can't see it happening. I think it's just too much money to bring it back into service.
Yeah.
Then last question we have from Ian Hartley, my good friend. He says, do you think because of the pandemic and airlines trying to save money that regional airports will get busier due to cheaper slots? Joe, we'll go with you.
But are you there, Bradley?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Joe, we'll go with you first.
Sorry, Tom. Repeat that question again, there.
Do you think because of the pandemic and airlines trying to save money, regional airports will get busier due to cheaper slots?
Well, Tom, I sure hope they do. I sure hope the slots do kind of get back to some kind of normality. Like I know we're in a situation at the moment, but I think a lot of airlines have good hope in getting back in there and filling the slots again. Fingers crossed, as I say.
Fantastic. I would like to think so. I mean, I know Bradley will probably back me up on this one. The loss of Flybe sort of has hit the region really hard. It's affected us really hard because it was like a connection to different places. I mean, I know Logan Air have started to fill in the void, I
say that attempting
to fill in the void. Yeah, you've also got other airlines, but I would like to think because of cheaper slots, you're going to get sort of more, like regional airlines and stuff, sort of stretching their wings. You know, pardon the pun, to try and help out a little bit. So I'd like to think so. And we'll go with the last question, and then we'll begin to wrap up. Excuse me. From Lucky Ball 14 Aviation, who says, "What is your favourite airport you've been to?"
Oh, tricky. Heathrow or Bristol?
Fantastic. Joe, what's yours?
Wow. My one is definitely London Heathrow.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I love London Heathrow. Top marks, and I'd say my second airport then would be Gatwick.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Very good shout. Yeah, good shout. Not known for its spotting locations, but it's definitely a good shout.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
How about you, Tom?
For me, Manchester, I would say. South side, like all day long. Like Heathrow has its spots, and we were talking about it. Before we went on air.
Yeah.
But for me, Manchester's up there. So for me, that's the one I would pick.
Yeah, brilliant choice.
Excellent.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
I think we're going to wrap that up here, or we'll begin to wrap it up. We're not going to end it just yet, but we'll begin to wrap it up. So first of all, we'll say big thank you to everybody that's contributed with questions in the chat. Very, very good questions. Very, very good questions indeed. Joe, do you want to say thanks and everything?
Bradley, an absolute big shout out to you, and very, very well done, and it was great communicating with you. But I'm doing a lot more communicating with you through Facebook, and I'm sure through Discord and that as well. So, and that we'll be keeping in touch. And as I said to you there during the podcast, I'll be subscribing to you now straight away. So I'm going to follow up on some of your wonderful shots that you got and that. So I'll be giving you some wonderful comments and everything like that. And thanks for being on the show with Tom.
So big thank you to Bradley for joining us. Now don't go anywhere, anybody in the chat or anyone that's watching, because we do have a big announcement for who's coming on next week. But before we get to that, this normally, I mean, last week we did like a quiz, but I think I'm scrapping that. But yeah, but I'm not doing the quiz no more. So we're going to use this part of the podcast now to basically do some shout outs. So normally we'll have a guest, and the guest will now do some shout outs for people they want to shout out. So Brad, is there anybody in particular that you want to sort of use this opportunity to give a big shout out to?
Of course. Of course, the AvGeeks branding, as you want to say. My friend Joel, my co-host, Travelino blog, those in the server, of course all my followers and supporters, Callum Spotting, Plane Spotting Ringway, Lucky Ball 14, and so many others, Mad Aviation, so many other fantastic aviation YouTubers as well. So
fantastic. Joe, is there anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to give a big shout out to a friend of mine up in Dublin, Dean Costello. He's he's into boat aircraft, and he's into fire vehicles and stuff like that as well. And I don't know who's ringing me. It's a group chat ringing me at the moment. But I also want to give a shout out to yourself, to you, Bradley.
It's the perks of being live is you get a phone call between.
I heard that.
Don't worry, it's going to be quiet now. And there's one person there. Great job, Bradley, TWA, and Jerry Aviation. Oh, they call me Jerry Aviation. Thank you very, very much. So yeah, that's basically, and to everybody who knows me on Facebook. Big shout out to them all on there as well, and big shout out to all the ad geeks out there as well on
definitely.
YouTube also.
Yeah, I can definitely back that one up. Yeah. So big shout out to everybody that's watched us today, and thank you for your patience as well, because this should have gone on yesterday, because of the issues that we had. It unfortunately was postponed till today. So thank you to everybody that's decided to watch us this evening. Another big shout out to frontline workers, NHS workers, and workers wherever you are in the country or in the world that you're watching tonight. Massive shout out to all the frontline workers for a fantastic job that you're doing throughout this difficult time. So big shout out to you guys.
Big shout out to them all, especially Tom, and keep them all safe as they do their daily jobs every day as well. And,
definitely.
I also want to actually thank you very much for having me as your co-host. I absolutely appreciate that, and it's nice to be on board doing something. Awesome.
No, it's been it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was an outcry last week for you to be made a co-host and that. So like I said, it happened and kept it quiet up until today. So it'll be good to have you on board, and like I say, I think people will probably agree with me that I think you've done fantastically well on your first stream. If you think I'm just going to put this out there, if you think Jer's done really well, just give a thumbs up in the chat and let us know. But yeah, so once again, thank you very much, Bradley, for joining us. We'll no doubt have you on again at some point.
Bradley, you're an absolute gentleman.
I'll definitely keep in contact.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, that'll be absolutely brilliant, Sorwell, and I look forward to meeting you whenever you do get a chance to.
Yeah, of course.
Dublin. Oh wow, it'll
fantastic.
Be great to show you around my special spotting areas I have at the airport up there.
So I'll read out a couple of things here. Bradley, your mum says excellent podcast, guys. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the love. We've also got Transport Guy saying well done. Lucky Ball 14 Aviation saying well done. All big thumbs up for Jer as well coming in the chat. So Jer, you did really well. I'm so proud.
Thanks 9/11. Appreciate that. Big shout out to you there.
Right. So.
Everybody else.
So before we shut down, who's on next week? Who's on next week?
Who is on next week, Tom?
I shall tell you.
I'm curious because I'll of course be tuning into it, and of course you refused to tell me earlier. So
I did refuse. I did refuse. I'm not spoiling it for no one. So. Next week, we have got a very, very, very special guest, and I'm so thankful for this. Yeah. So, next week, we have got a former captain for 47 years, flying with many, many airlines within British Airways, from Cambrian to Caledonian to BOAC to British Airways themselves, flying all sorts of aircraft from the TriStar, 777s, and even, Joe, Queen of the Skies,
Yes.
747.
The 747 Queen of the Skies. Oh yes.
Absolutely. She has been on. I don't know if you guys or anyone in the chat remembers. We have. She's been on the BBC program Plane Spotting Live when that was on for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Absolute amazing personality, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be able to talk to her. We have got Kat Burton on the show next week, so I'm super happy about this.
Yes.
So
Definitely, Tom.
Kat Burton will be with us next week, and I have spoken to her already. She has said she's open to answer any question that you have in terms of what she's flown in the past and things like that. So I'm super excited for next week. So Kat Burton is joining us next week on Sunday, hopefully, provided that this doesn't go wrong again.
Well, let's hope it don't, Tom.
I'm certain it won't. I'm certain it won't. But yeah,
we'll always keep double checking to make sure everything is working sufficient anyway. As I say, but Kat Burton,
yeah, unbelievable.
Of course, be tuning into that one.
Absolutely amazing. So yeah, there she is. She's in the chat right now. There she is, Catherine Burton. She is joining us next week.
Hello.
Massive good evening to you, Catherine.
We can't wait. We can't wait to chat to you next week about all the most beautiful aircraft that you've flown, and especially my favourite aircraft, the Queen of the Skies.
It's gonna be some show. Honestly, it's gonna be fantastic.
Tom.
It will be fantastic. But yeah, we're gonna leave it there now. So we've given you the news of next week, so we're going to leave it there. So once again, Bradley, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everybody who has participated in terms of questions, and of course, Jer for becoming co-host.
Thank you very much, Tom. Absolute pleasure, and I want to say one final word. Thanks to everybody in the chat that joined in, and. We glad we got to answer as many of your questions as we could, as I say. But next week is going to be awesome. It's going
to be so good, and I hope everybody can join me and me and Joe for next week's episode.
And you yourself as well, Bradley.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
So everybody, I've just lost my train of thought. Then no, it's all good. Bradley, do you want to say bye to everyone?
So everybody, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. It's been absolutely fantastic. And of course, a huge shout out to Tango Whiskey Aviation for, of course, having me on, and of course, Joe Lingus. Go and subscribe to the YouTube channels and follow them on social media as well.
Fantastic. You can catch Bradley on his podcast I can't remember now, Thursday. That's right. Because we did it on a Tuesday, so I'm thinking it's Tuesday. You can catch Bradley on his podcast every Thursday on the AvGeeks podcast. Look him up on YouTube, give him a subscribe, and give them a watch. It is well worth it. Joe, do you want to say bye to everyone?
Thank you.
I want to say goodbye to yourself. I want to say goodbye to everybody on the chat as well. And look after yourselves and enjoy the rest of your Easter evening. And God bless you all, and stay safe. And yourself, Tom, and Bradley, stay safe as well. And I look forward to subscribing to your channel as well.
Fantastic stuff. And from me, I'll look forward to seeing everybody next weekend for our special show next week. And hopefully you'll be able to join me. So for now, continue to look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Right, take care.
Let's cool my youth. Promise me that our days will run smooth until we crumble. We could be